This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning and welcome to Monkhouse on Mondays. Today I am joined by Marina Thomas. Marina is head of training at TA6, which of course we all know is powered by Alliance. So Marina, how are you today?
I'm very good, David. How are you?
I'm actually very well, thank you. It took me a little while to do my foundation. I can see actually I'm a bit shiny on top, so I need to sort that out. But yeah, really well, thank you. Fit and healthy. And actually on that note, so I've seen some social media from you, Marina. We're connected in all kinds of places. You've been doing a May challenge, haven't you? How's that been going?
Well, it's fantastic because I'm in the middle of June, so I feel, yay, I've done it. So that came about because one of my clients' friends said that she was doing the marathon in May and she was going to do 2.5 miles a day. Now, I don't run since a previous injury. So I went, okay, you know, I can do a mile a day. I can do I used to do 10-minute miles.
Right, okay.
So I can do 10 minutes. So I did it, completed it. And now I am doing 1.5 miles a day for June.
Right, fantastic.
Except have been so motivated that I've got it up to just over 2 miles a day. And we're only on,
well done.
What are we on? The 17th of June today?
Yeah, fantastic.
So yeah, so it's going well.
That's brilliant, that's positive. Okay. So the reason we're going to have this conversation is I spoke to Woody, and Woody gave us an indication about a decision tree piece that you've been using to help support your clients, which has led to some learning. But just give me a bit of insight about this decision tree. What's that about?
Well, fundamentally, what it is that we serve clients in lots of different ways. One of them is training, which is what I head up. But we build we build leisure centres, we do marketing for leisure centres, and we are in partnership with them. So if we're going to serve our customers, we need to be hopefully a few steps ahead and seeing what the challenges are. So what the team did, Woody, John Lever, Nicola, Claire Place, we've got a huge group of talent that in Alliance and TA6, is they started from the beginning, from when we were closed, and they said, well, what are the challenges that we've got right now with our customers, with freezing people? How are we going to communicate with them? And then what is that first phase going to look like when we're closed? What facilities are we going to have to think about, the capacity, the staffing, furloughing, unfurloughing? So we basically built this massive decision map. And I can't take the credit for that. That was Woody and John, and that was fantastic. And they looked at what do we need to do to be ready for when we open, and they've plotted the whole journey. Now, that journey has led to us saying, well, when we do come back, it's going to look like this. And the challenges for our team are going to be, how do they deal with customers who have to social distance, potentially wear face coverings, stay within lanes, swimming when they're not used to doing that. All the challenges that are going to come up. So because they've planned this whole journey, all of the eventualities that could happen, that's really made my job easy. Because they've said, well, it's all very well planning this, but are our staff ready to enforce? I don't want to use that word, because the whole thing is we've said, how do we get all of our customers back? We're all desperate, aren't we? We're in a situation that we don't know. How do we get our customers to come back and trust us? We haven't had them for 3 months, and we love them. And we also love our staff, because some of the people I've been speaking to who are doing this training, which we'll tell you about in a moment, have said, we also want our staff back. We're worried that some of our sales team won't come back. So from that journey, we've said, right, these are the things that we anticipate. We don't know. We're going out on a limb. We anticipate is going to happen. And, oh, my God, we need to train our staff to do that.
Okay.
Does that clarify that? Did I do that clearly enough?
No, that's really good. So is this the bit around then the COVID comeback, around confident communication? Is that the strap line that you're applying to this type of learning and development package together?
So one of the many things that the team have done is they've come up with comeback campaigns and lots of marketing that's free that we've given to the industry. I don't know if you've managed to see any of that, but it's all free. If anyone's watching this and they haven't seen it, really tap into that, because the artwork, Rob that works with us, heads up our creative team, has come up with amazing imagery for social media, and it's all free. And so what we've got is this comeback element, and we're calling it COVID Comeback, and we've got a portfolio of training, and they're all 1 to 1.5 hour bites. They're live digital on Zoom at the moment, but we're not we're not precious about that. And the first one is to set our teams up to be confident in their communication.
Good.
So when you're in the supermarket and you're seeing something going on, and that internal voice that's going on, why don't they do that? We're trying to solve that, to help our teams kindly and confidently and humanely give feedback to our customers that we love, and we want them to come back.
Okay. And I think, there's been some really good research. My Customer Lens has just done something with Community Leisure UK Limited around what the team are feeling at the moment. And there's some really interesting insight starting to come out of that, which I think will be addressed by the types of stuff you're talking about here. But what do you think are the key things in helping our team to feel safe, to feel confident when they start interacting with customers, and to give that level of confidence to a customer? What's the sort of things we should be looking at?
Well, first of all, for them to know that they're supported and for us to communicate with them. And I know that sounds really obvious, but even skills that they had before we went into lockdown, they're not going to be as fresh. Every single one of us is in a heightened state, and we're closer to fight or flight at any moment. So that means that we are not going to be reacting as logically, and all of our fears are going to be around. And that if that means that we are a personality style that we don't like confrontation, then we are going to be even less likely to communicate. So the first thing is, this is how we're all feeling. We are looking after you. We're asking you to give feedback to our customers, but it's to help them, not to tell them that they're wrong. So that's first of all. Then it's to say, these are probably the things that are going to come up. And these are the things that, and we're going to show you, we're going to tell you what we think they are. We're going to show you how to do them. We're going to show you again. We're going to give you scripts, but you don't have to use scripts. We're just going to give them to you. We're going to put it on video so you can go back and look at it again and again. And then if you want, we're going to give you an opportunity to try it in breakout rooms privately. And then if you want to try it with me, you can, but no pressure. So that's the sort of format of the training.
Okay. That's really interesting, because as you know, I deliver some learning and development in the sector, and I think the greatest challenge is recognizing that so many of our team members are kinesthetic learners. They learn through practical application of doing things. So that whole opportunity to practice, not role play, but practice, I think is really interesting from that point of view. And then when you can use the video, you can use other resources to learn the process. I think that's really interesting. So how have you, what's the key messages, do you think, that team members need to be thinking about? My key message is empathy. It's about trying to recognize that different people are going to come back with different views and different challenges, and our team members need to be prompting help and assistance rather than waiting to be asked for stuff. So that would be my key message. What sort of key messages have you come up with?
Well, I think that you're absolutely right about empathy. And one of the things that we've got in our the training is it's a communication formula, and it's 6 steps. And the second step is empathy, and the 6th step is to thank people. And we call it the if process. So it's introduce facts, not fluff, so that it's not personal. Explain the impact and why we're doing it, and then ask them for feedback. And you know, your business is feedback, isn't it, David? You know, when I first did work with Mike, it was at One Life many years ago, and it was all about, can we get feedback? Do we really ask for it? And if you give people a chance to feedback, they buy in, and that's the staff and the customers. So that's what I would be saying. And you mentioned empathy, and you asked me about my exercise earlier. I'm running every morning, but I'm also walking for an hour with my mum. And my mum spends some of her walk being frustrated by the fact that runners run by her. So I've just been in the runner's shoes like half an hour before, and I'm trying to sort of say to her, well, this is why and this is that. And it's, can we really genuinely put ourselves in other people's shoes when we're noticing that their children are running out of the queue and not social distancing before we speak to them? Can we take a moment and say, why? How can I treat this from the parent's perspective rather than my manager's told me to keep them in the queue?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that whole piece around empathy, absolutely in other people's shoes, but it's a bit more than that for me. It's about why they're wearing those shoes. It's around, you know, and it's all of those other things that as a team member, they'll be feeling about returning to work and doing this stuff.
Yes.
It's all of that piece. And you know, we talk about empathy and leadership around thinking differently about the offers we have, the service that we provide, the programs that we could do. But I think empathy from team members is going to be absolutely vital. So I'm really pleased that you're talking about learning development to assist people to really think through that piece around empathy. You said 6 steps, empathy is the second one. What else is in the 6 steps?
So the 6 steps, the first is to introduce, and that is so that you stay in the front part of the brain, the logical part, and not go back into the reptilian where we hit that amygdala and we become emotional. The empathy is the second step, but you know, it's at any point. You can layer empathy in at any stage, and you need to keep it in your heart at all times. Facts, stay factual, not you stepped out of the queue. Would you mind if I give you this information? I noticed that. The next one is impact. So we've stayed factual. The reason we're asking you to do that is to keep us safe so we can stay open. And then we give them an opportunity to give us feedback. Is that okay? And we don't always even have to ask them to feed. It's just a case of, can we just get a nod that it's okay? Because we know, you know, we're asking a lot of our team members, as we always are, and the feedback to me will be, you try doing that, Marina, when I've got this queue. And so, you know, I'm not expecting a full conversation every time. It's about, can we just get that little nod of feedback? And maybe the feedback will come later, but we have given an opportunity. And the 6th step is to thank you, thank you, thank you.
And that is so important, isn't it? Is to acknowledge that when somebody has listened, when somebody has taken on board, is actually acknowledging the fact that, you know, I thank you for that, because it's important to me. I've made a difference. I've had an impact on your thinking or your activity or the prolonged activity that we can deliver in this site. It's really interesting. So where can we get access to some of this stuff? So if people are watching this now, how can we get an overview and a flavour and a more insight into what you've done?
Well, the first way is that they could go to the Alliance website, and you will actually have the access to all of the information from the course. The pre-course information is on the website, and there's a video of me explaining what the content is. The other way is it's throughout the social media. It's in my social media personally, Marina Thomas, but it's also in the Alliance and the TA6. Or they can email me direct, and I can have a conversation. We've literally we launched it a week and a half ago, and we've got about 10 organisations booked already. Some of them with up to 250 staff. We're trying to do it to smaller groups so that we can actually get people to interact, and it can be a session that replaces face-to-face for the moment. But, you know, we're working with our clients how it serves them, and we're very conscious about the economics for people, and we will deliver it however they need it to be delivered. And then what's happened straight away is they're asking for other courses. So we've got a portfolio now.
Fantastic.
And we'll see what happens, David. We'll see if it works. And I have every hope and faith. We'll see.
I don't think you need hope, because you'll have put a lot of time and effort into this. You'll have put some research into this, and you'll have put a lot of your competence and experience into it. So don't hope, this will work. And on that note, we'll call that a day. That is so useful, really interesting information. And I think it just moves us now from a recovery point of view to really start thinking about our teams and how we support our teams. So Marina, thank you so much for your time. Really nice to see you. And we'll catch up soon. All right, take care.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, speak soon.